19 years later, my abandoned son reveals an incredible secret that changed everything forever. The factory hums with the sound of hard work, a steady beat that matches the rhythm of Mike's weary heart. Standing at the assembly line, he catches a glimpse of a photo tucked in his wallet. Sarah, his bright-eyed daughter, smiling beneath her graduation cap. Pride fills him, but it's accompanied by a gut-wrenching reminder of what he never had. Memories flood back. His father's abandoned laughter still echoes, taunting him from the past. As he wipes the sweat from his brow, the letter arrives. An envelope marked by a community leader, someone important. He opens it with trembling hands. "You have a brother," it reads, sending his world spinning. A brother? The thought sends shockwaves through his heart. There was so much he had sacrificed for Sarah's happiness, ensuring her life was free of abandonment's grip. What could this revelation mean? Mike's mind races with questions. He remembers the lonely nights after his dad left, the way that void molded him into a single father determined to shield Sarah from similar pain. The town, with its storefronts and familiar faces, feels heavy. Whispers of scorn surround him. The townsfolk love to judge the man with a missing father. What would they think if they knew he might have a brother wandering through those same streets? Before he can fully process, he feels a swelling urgency, a mixture of resentment and yearning. He must find this brother. Maybe there's a connection waiting to heal old wounds. But will this journey launch him into the same turbulent waters that sent his father away? The search begins. Amid the murmur of familiar voices and echoing laughter that can quickly turn to judgment, Mike makes calls and pops into neighbors' homes under the pretense of casual visits. Faces turn cold at the mention of his father. "He didn't care," one old friend says curtly, eyes narrowing. Each rejection twists like a knife, but he presses forward, needing to know the truth. One evening, at a local veterans event, Mike stands against the sidelines, feeling lost among the crowd. His pulse quickens as the chairman steps to the microphone. The man's voice carries an electric familiarity that sends chills down Mike's spine. Brotherhood, sacrifice, family, he speaks. Hope catches in Mike's throat. Could this be his brother? He squares his shoulders, trembling with anticipation. Everyone leans in, captivated. As he watches, his brother shares tales of their father, laughing like a ghost Mike hasn't seen in decades. "Family can mean more than blood," his brother says, igniting something in Mike. The moment hangs heavy with emotion. Hope flickers, battling against despair. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Mike can feel the energy in the crowd swelling, the spark of possibility. Can he build a bridge over the chasm of betrayal and longing? The tension is palpable. The seconds stretch, filled with unanswered questions. What if he rejects me? Whispers in the back of his mind. But does he dare hope for a different outcome? As the audience roars with applause, Mike's heart races. What will he do next? Can he step into the light of brotherhood, or will he always be haunted by the shadows of the past? The vision of that brotherly embrace feels both tantalizingly close and beautifully out of reach. Mike takes a deep breath, his resolve hardening. He knows he has to meet this brother to confront the potential of what they could share. But the fear of repeating history looms large. What if he finds himself disappointed, just like he did when he was younger? He clenches his fists, the photo of Sarah still tucked in his pocket, a silent reminder of everything he fought for. The applause fades as he stands there, heart thrumming like a drum. The crowd disperses and Mike pushes forward. He approaches the podium, heart racing, trying to catch the brother's eye. He feels like a ghost seeking warmth. Their gazes finally lock, and there's a flicker of recognition, a spark that ignites hope within Mike. After the event, he waits, rehearsing in his mind what he'll say. More than a brother, he's searching for family. But standing in the dim light of the parking lot, it feels harder than he imagined. When the crowd thins out and the chatter quiets, Mike gathers the courage. Hey, can we talk? His brother, Jake, turns to face him. There's curiosity in his eyes, a mix of warmth and hesitation. Are you? The question hangs in the air, filled with possibility. Yeah, I'm Mike, your brother. Silence stretches between them, thick with unspoken words. It's as if they stand at the edge of a cliff, each waiting for the other to make the first move. Finally, Jake sighs, cracking a small smile. I've heard a lot about you. The relief washes over Mike, easing some of his tension. But there's still a weight. It might not be enough. I just want to understand. What happened with Dad? Why did he leave? Did he start a new life somewhere? Jake shrugs, his expression solemn. He was never really around for me either. I know he left, but I hope things could be different for us. The words strike Mike like a punch. A flawed father, leaving behind a trail of hurt and gaps instead of warmth. I wanted to protect Sarah from that. But now I feel like I might have made another mistake by not finding you sooner. Before Mike can spiral further into regret, Jake lifts a hand. You're not making a mistake. We have a chance to change things, right? His voice is steady, and Mike feels a flicker of agreement, a flame wanting to grow. They sit on the steps of the factory, sharing stories, filling in the pieces of their lives. Mike talks about Sarah, her graduation, his fears of repeating the cycles of the past. Jake listens intently, and Mike finds comfort in knowing he is not alone in this. Just as the conversation flows easily, Jake's expression shifts. There's something else I need to tell you. A reason why I've been looking for you too. Mike's heart drops. A weight settles in the air. What more could there be? Panic bubbles within him. What do you mean? He leans forward, every muscle taut with apprehension. Jake hesitates, his voice barely above a whisper. It's about Dad and why he left. The words hang heavy, an impending storm ready to break. Mike's heart races, eyes locked onto Jake's. What revelation lies ahead? Will it bring the brotherly bond closer together or tear it apart completely? The air thickens around Mike as he looks into Jake's eyes, searching for answers that neither of them fully understands yet. The night seems to pause, shadows draping around them like a shroud. Just tell me, Mike urges, his voice strained, raw with emotion. What do you know? Jake exhales slowly, as if trying to process the weight of his thoughts. Dad, he didn't just leave. He had his reasons, and they're not what you think. He looks away for a moment. There's a reason we both grew up with that feeling of abandonment. I've tracked down some old friends of his. They hinted at something big. He wasn't just running, he was escaping. Escaping? From what? The words tumble out of Mike's mouth, his heart racing even faster. The anger inside him wraps around the fear of the unknown, squeezing tighter. From something he never wanted us to know. Jake's gaze returns to Mike, earnest and firm. He got involved in something dangerous. Something that could have changed everything for us if he had stayed. Mike's mind spins. A flood of emotions rushed through him: betrayal, curiosity, fear. Dangerous how? Was he in trouble? Did he know? Jake interrupts, shaking his head. That's not it. He was a part of something bigger, something that could put us both in danger if anyone ever found out. I didn't want to tell you this without knowing you'd hear me out first. Silence stretches again, but this time it's filled with a heavy pulse of anxiety. What do you mean, put us in danger? Jake, you can't just drop a bomb like that and leave it hanging. Mike's voice has risen, frustration spilling over. Jake runs a hand through his hair, frustration mirroring Mike's own. I know it sounds crazy, but it's the only explanation I have. Some old associates are still out there. They're not people to mess with. And when I found out, I couldn't sit by and let it fester. I had to know if you'd be safe if I reached out. With each word, Mike feels the ground shifting beneath him. Safe? Safe from what? From who? The questions pour out, but deep down, one big question looms larger than all the rest. What would they do now? I don't know yet, Jake admits, the honesty lacing his voice. But we can't avoid it. We need to figure this out together. If there's a threat, then I need someone who's got my back. I need you. A heavy realization crashes over Mike. This wasn't just about family. It was about survival. The bond they've started to build already feels overshadowed by a darkness threatening to consume them both. Are you saying we might be in danger because of him? Because of our past? Jake nods, the weight of the situation sinking in between them. I think so. And it might be worse than we think. I wouldn't have approached you if it wasn't serious. There's more at stake here than just us. Mike's mind races with possibilities. What if their father was hiding more than just his absence? What if his past could reach out to destroy what they were trying to build? Then we'll need to dig deeper, Mike starts, resolve hardening in him once more. We have to find out everything, every detail about him, about what he did or didn't he do. As their eyes connect, a sense of purpose ignites in the air between them. But tied with it is an unspoken fear. What if they uncover something they can't handle? What if this journey leads them into the depths of darkness? With a determined sigh, Mike stands up, ready to face whatever lies ahead. We'll do this together, Jake. No turning back now. As they prepare to delve into their family history, Mike can't shake the feeling that they are standing at the edge of something monumental. A revelation that could either bind them together or tear them apart. But what if Jake starts, hesitating as he looks into Mike's eyes? What if we're not ready for the truth? Mike meets his gaze, a knot tightening in his stomach. What if they weren't ready? Would they still be brothers after all of this? The air thickens with anticipation, heavy with the weight of the unknown. Mike takes a deep breath, trying to steady himself. Uncertainty hangs heavy in the air, wrapping around them like a fog creeping in from the dark edges of a forest. I get that it can be scary, he says, trying to be strong for both of them. But we owe it to ourselves now. We owe it to him to find out what really happened. Jake nods, his expression serious as he pushes off the fence and steps closer, a spark of determination igniting in his eyes. Okay, then let us start with those friends you mentioned. Where do we even look? With a sudden urgency, Mike feels the adrenaline pumping through him. We'll track down those associates. If Dad was involved in something dangerous, these people might have more information. They might be the keys to understanding why he left. Jake hesitates. But what if they don't want to talk? What if they're dangerous? A surge of defiance fills Mike. We have to take that risk. We've lived in the shadows of his decisions long enough. It's time we step into the light, no matter how blinding it might be. His words hang between them, a mix of fear and unyielding resolve. The brothers make a plan to meet the following evening. As they part ways, Mike can't shake the feeling that they're embarking on a path from which there may be no return. Each step he takes feels heavier, burdened by the weight of their father's secrets. That night, sleep evades him. Images of a father he barely remembers fill his mind, fragmented memories of laughter and warmth, now tainted by a growing sense of betrayal. He can't help but wonder, what was it that drove their dad to abandon them? Finally, dawn breaks, casting long shadows across his room. Coffee in hand, Mike reviews the scant information Jake had gathered. He grips his phone tight, a lifeline to the dangerous and unknown. As he scrolls through the names, one catches his eye, an old name he'd thought forgotten, a man known for his ruthlessness in the shadows of the city. The last time he'd heard about him, it was bad news. A promising lead turned sour, leaving a trail of wreckage and warnings. He hesitates, but a flicker of courage pushes him forward. He won't let fear dictate their path. It's time to confront the truth. Later, as he and Jake stand outside an unassuming diner that Jake had learned one of their father's associates frequented, Mike's heart thumps loudly. Every beat whispers doubts into his ear. You sure about this? Jake asks, glancing at Mike with concern warring against eagerness. I am, Mike replies, though the tremor in his voice betrays him. Stepping inside, the worn floorboards creak beneath their weight. They scan the room for the man, a grizzled figure sitting alone, a silent storm brewing behind his guarded eyes. Here goes nothing, Mike mutters, more to himself than anyone else. As they approach, a sinking knot forms in Mike's stomach. What if this encounter put them deeper in danger? But it was too late to back out now. They were determined, and with every step closer, Mike could feel the significance of their quest weighing heavily on his shoulders. Would revelations emerge that unified them, or was it too late to turn back? "Excuse me," Jake says, breaking the spell, locking eyes with the man. The moment of truth arrived, but the questions still lingered in the back of Mike's mind. Would they be ready for what lay ahead? The man looked up, surprise flashing across his weathered face. He wasn't expecting anyone, let alone the sons of the man he thought he'd left far behind. For a moment, the silence wrapped around them like a tangible barrier, thick and suffocating. "Who are you?" The man's voice carried an edge, caution woven through it like a thread. Mike felt Jake's grip tighten on his arm, each of them waiting for a response that could unravel everything. "I'm Mike," he blurted out, his voice louder than intended. "And this is my brother, Jake. We're here to talk about our dad." The man leaned back in his booth, a flicker of recognition igniting in his eyes. "David's kids, huh? Didn't he think I'd ever see you too?" There was a weight to his words, a history hidden beneath layers of regret and choices long made. "Do you know why he left?" Jake interjected, anger rising in his voice. "We have to know. We deserve to know the truth." There was a long pause, the kind where time felt like it come to a standstill. The man's eyes hardened, as if he were wrestling with ghosts from the past. "Truth ain't a simple thing, boys. Sometimes it's buried deeper than you think." Mike felt his heartbeat pulse with urgency. "We're prepared for what it takes," he said, conviction ringing in his voice. "Whatever it is, we can handle it." "Handle it?" The man scoffed, a bitter laugh erupting from his throat. "You don't know what you're asking for." Being in the dark was easier for him, at least. "No, it wasn't he," Jake shot back. "Leaving us was the coward's way out. He should have faced us." The man shifted, his expression softening marginally. "It's not that simple. You need to understand, things got messy. Your father let us just say he made some choices that put him, and you, in danger." "Danger." The word reverberated through the diner, piercing the fragile hope they had been clinging to. Mike's stomach twisted at the implications. What had their father really been involved in? The notion of secrets spiraled in Mike's mind, growing larger and more frightening. As if reading their minds, the man continued, "If you want to know more, you'll need to be ready for what comes after. There are people out there who would want to keep this buried." The fear in Mike washed over like a wave, but beneath it burned a fire of determination. They had been living under a cloud of uncertainty for too long. "We're ready," he declared, though he felt the tremor in his heart. "We need to know." A faint nod from the man, almost reluctant. "Fine. But you might wish you hadn't asked. Meet me tomorrow night at the old warehouse down on 5th. I'll tell you everything. And once it's out there, there's no going back." With that, he turned away, a wall of silence closing in behind him. The brothers exchanged a look of disbelief, the gravity of their next move settling over them. "Tomorrow night," Jake whispered, as if trying to grasp the enormity of what lay ahead. "Yeah." Mike's voice felt heavy in his throat. They were stepping into a world neither of them understood, a place where nightmares blurred with reality. Yet, for the first time, they were determined to face their father's legacy together. But as Mike glanced back at the man, he felt a tug of anxiety. What if the answers they sought only led to deeper shadows? Tomorrow couldn't come quickly enough, but lingering questions haunted him. What price would they pay for the truth? Would it tear them apart further, or finally grant them the solace they sought? Stepping out into the cool evening air, Mike felt a weight in his chest. Would they be prepared for the truth? And how far would they go to unveil the secrets that had haunted their lives? The following day crept by agonizingly slow, every tick of the clock a reminder that time was running out. Mike and Jake moved through their routines like shadows, going through the motions of normal life, but their minds were consumed by thoughts of the warehouse. The anticipation gnawed at them, restless and unyielding, churning with images of what awaited them, a storm of questions brewing just beneath the surface. As evening approached, dread replaced the flicker of adrenaline. "What if we just don't go?" Jake asked, his voice barely above a whisper. They were sitting at their usual spot in the small living room, pizza untouched between them. Mike's heart raced as he considered the alternative. "And do what? Live another day without knowing?" "Sometimes ignorance is a blessing," Jake shot back. Mike turned to face him, intensity burning in his eyes. "But is it really? We've been haunted by his choices long enough. We deserve answers, Jake." even if they shatter everything we thought we knew. Silence hung thick in the air. Jake's frustration ebbed, replaced by a simmering fear. They were two boys stumbling into the adult world without a map, and tonight they would decide their own fate. As twilight draped the world in shadows, they stepped outside, the crisp air biting at their skin. Underneath the streetlights, their breaths formed puffs of fog, mingling with uncertainty. The old warehouse loomed in the distance like a monolith of secrets, a place forgotten by time and painted bleak by their imaginations. They arrived well before their meeting time, both of them pacing like lions caged by doubt. Each passing moment felt weighted, pressure mounting around them like a tightened vice. What if he's not there? What if we made it all up? Jake whispered, glancing around nervously. He'll be here, Mike assured, yet uncertainty gnawed at the edges of his confidence. He has to be. The minutes stretched onward, their anticipation incredibly taut. Finally, Mike spotted a figure emerging from the shadows, a solitary silhouette that morphed into the man they'd met before. Mike's stomach flipped as questions surged back, igniting the fire within him once more. "Did you come?" the man asked, an unexpected edge of sincerity in his voice. His expression seemed softer now, as if the shadows pulled at memories he desperately tried to suppress. "We need to know," Jake spoke up, steadying himself. "About our dad. What happened?" "Then let us talk inside," the man replied, motioning for them to follow. The door creaked open, a musty smell wafting out. Stepping into the warehouse felt like crossing a threshold into another world, one filled with dim light and uncertainty. Dust particles floated lazily in the air, illuminated by beams of fading sunlight. The man guided them toward a table at the far end, where the atmosphere felt thicker, alive with unspoken truths. Once seated, he glanced around before speaking, his voice barely above a murmur. "Your father did things you'll find hard to swallow." Mike's heart raced as the man paused, the weight of his words lingering between them. What could be so grave that it was worth hiding? He could see the fear in Jake's eyes mirrored in his own. "Are you sure you want to hear this?" the man asked, looking them over with a mix of empathy and caution. A stalemate settled over the table, the air electrified with anticipation. "Yes," they answered in unison, determination weaving into their voices. The man took a deep breath, his expression somber. "I'll start from the beginning, but know this: what's uncovered tonight could turn your life upside down." As he began, Mike could feel the world closing in on them, the boundaries of their past expanding. Whatever came next would change everything, but at what cost? The moment teetered on a knife edge. The story was about to unravel. Would they find closure or merely deeper wounds? In that instant, a sharp sound echoed from behind the towering shelves, soft yet unsettling. Footsteps? Someone else was here, listening, lingering in the shadows. Suddenly, the world narrowed into a single, heart-stopping question. Who else was part of this dangerous secret? The man's brow furrowed, and he shot a concerned glance toward the shadows. "Stay close," he urged. The words barely made it past his lips when another figure emerged, stepping into the faint light filtering through dusty windows. Mike's breath hitched. A woman, her features barely visible but undeniably familiar. It was as if a ghost had materialized from the depths of their childhood memories. "Mom?" Jake's voice cracked, confusion tangled with hope. The man shifted uncomfortably, his eyes darting between the brothers and the woman. "You shouldn't be here, Sarah," he said sharply, but the woman didn't budge, her gaze fixed on Mike and Jake. "Boys," she said, her voice cracking under the weight of pent-up emotion. "It's been a long time," she added, stepping closer. Each word felt like a fragile icicle hanging on the edge of a roof. Jake's chest tightened, anger and love battling fiercely within him. "You left us," he whispered, the betrayal lacing his tone like poison. "I had no choice," she began, but the words felt inadequate, pale against the years they had spent searching for answers. "Mom, you should have fought harder," Mike interjected, his voice rising. He felt hot, the fire of long-stifled resentment flaring to life. "You just disappeared. Please, let me explain." Her voice trembled, filled with an urgency that suddenly pierced through the haze of bitterness. The man spoke up again, frustration boiling beneath the surface. "You need to listen to her." But Mike's heart raced with questions. Why was she here? What had she kept hidden? Why now? After all these years? Mom's eyes glistened with unshed tears as she wiped away a few stray strands of hair. "Because you need to understand. Your father, we were tangled in something dangerous. I thought it would protect us?" Jake scoffed, disbelief tainting his words. "By leaving us? Look, I couldn't stay. I didn't want you to grow up in that world." There was fear in her voice, a tremor that spoke volumes of the past that haunted her. A silence enveloped them, thick and suffocating. Mike shifted uncomfortably, weighing her words. The tension peaked, each heartbeat amplified like a drum. "What do you mean by that world?" It was as if the air crackled with electricity. They were standing on the brink of volcanic truths. The man glanced at the woman, urging her with his eyes, as if deciding how much to divulge. "It's not just about your father," she began slowly, her eyes searching theirs. "He was involved in something far beyond what you could imagine. Things that could destroy lives, including yours." Jake's brow furrowed deeper, lost in a whirlpool of emotions. "You're saying what? He was a criminal?" "Not just any criminal," the man interjected. "He often found himself at the center of a web of deceit and danger," and he paused to glance around, a warrior listening for war drums. "You boys were caught in it. The truth could expose you to threats you can't begin to fathom." Mike felt himself sway under the weight of those words. Threats? Were they never safe to begin with? His chest constricted, and he glanced at Jake, who seemed equally shaken. As the storm within them raged, the warehouse door creaked again, and outside shadows flickered. Time stagnated, charged with danger. A sense of foreboding lingered as the faint sounds of footsteps approached, heavy and deliberate, echoing through the silence. "Someone's coming," the woman said, her voice dropped to a fearful whisper. "We have to hide." Now yet the revelation hung between them, a dark banner unfurling with a promise of truth they'd long sought. Was this the moment their shattered past could finally be pieced together, or were they stepping deeper into the shadows? In that charged air, the question loomed large. What secrets would be clawed from the darkness? Panic surged through Mike like a cold wave. He exchanged desperate glances with his brother, the air thick with uncertainty and fear. "Where do we go?" he whispered, almost pleading for guidance. "Over there," their mother pointed to a dimly lit corner behind stacks of crates. Quickly. She moved first, creeping low, the others close behind. The crates were taller than Mike, casting long shadows that seemed to swallow the light. He ducked behind a wooden wall, his heart pounding, every noise outside magnified. The footsteps grew louder, an ominous staccato that stirred dread within him. "Do you think they're looking for us?" Jake murmured, his voice tense. "Just stay quiet," the man urged, glancing around. "They might not know we're here." As they huddled together, Mike's mind raced. His mother returned from the past, only to drag them into more danger. "Mom, what did you get us into?" he thought, resentment boiling. Wasn't it enough she left? Now she brought the chaos back. Just then, the door burst open, slamming against the wall with a deafening crash. A figure loomed in the doorway, cloaked in shadows. The scent of damp earth and stale air accompanied the intruder, heightening the sense of impending doom. Mike held his breath, and he saw the outline of a man, tall and menacing. "Sarah," the voice called out, deep and raspy. "I know you're in here. Come out now." "Stay quiet," their mother whispered, her face pale. Something was wrong, very wrong. This man was no stranger. His tone was familiar, laced with malice and memories best left buried. Mike could feel the tension radiating from her, like a live wire ready to snap. "Mom, do you know him?" Jake asked softly, his eyes wide with fear. Just don't make a sound," she replied, fear flickering in her eyes. The man stood just outside, scanning the room, and Mike could see his muscles tense. The confrontation was imminent. The figure took a step forward. "I know you're here, Sarah. You can't run forever. What have you brought back?" His voice dripped with menace. It felt like a threat, like danger creeping ever closer, and Mike could feel each beat of his heart thudding in his ears. Who is he? Mike felt the need to know, but the question trailed off in his throat, choked by urgency. I'll explain everything, I promise, their mother whispered, her fingers trembling as she held their hands. I just need you to trust me for now. And then, as if the shadows were feeding off their fear, the door swung open wider and a sharp light pierced through. The man stepped inside, his gaze sweeping the room, landing on the hiding place. A cold sweat broke on Mike's brow. The confrontation they had dreaded was now at their doorstep. Found you, the figure said, a cruel smile creeping across his face. Now, how about you tell me which one of you is the favorite son? In that moment of stark realization, Mike's thoughts locked around a single pulsating truth. The past they thought they could run from was now diverging with their present in the most dangerous way imaginable. What do you want? Jake shouted, courage battling fear. But Mike could see the cracks in his brother's facade. Why don't we start with how much you actually know about your father? The words hung in the air, heavy with accusation, and the brothers felt the ground shift under their feet. Would they finally get the answers they craved, or would the shadows swallow them whole instead? The man's smile deepened, transforming his face into a mask of malice. It sent a shiver down Mike's spine. His mind shot off in different directions, trying to grasp what this supposed truth could mean for them. Was their father a monster? Had their mother indeed carried secrets that would shatter their world? Start with your real name, he demanded, trying to summon every bit of bravado he had. You think you can just come in here and play games with us? Games? The man chuckled, but it was more of a growl. Oh, trust me, this is far from a game. It's about bloodlines and legacies, and the lies that entangle them. Their mother stepped forward, a shield against the darkness. You don't know what you're talking about, she protested, though panic tinged her voice. You need to leave us alone, Andrew. This isn't about you. Andrew? The name reverberated in Mike's mind like a clanging bell. It sounded so familiar, yet distant, a name woven into the very fabric of memories he couldn't quite grasp. Really, Sarah? After all these years, you think you can just run and hide? Andrew's mocking tone caused the atmosphere to thicken with tension. You think the past doesn't always find a way to catch up with you? We were just kids. Jake interjected, his voice rising. In a corner of the dimly lit room, Mike heard a tremble underlying his brother's words. What do you want from us? I want the truth. Andrew's eyes glimmered with something unsettling. And for you to understand the significance of your lineage. Your father, he's not who you think he is. The room fell silent, the weight of those words causing time to freeze for a brief moment. Their father had been a ghost, a mere figure in their fragmented memories. A faceless man woven into the stories their mother told. Which pieces of that story were real? And which were lies? Mike felt his heart racing. What do you know about him? He demanded, his voice steadier than he felt. You think you can barge in here, throw around accusations, and expect us to just believe you? Andrew's expression turned serious. You kids always wondered why your mother left, didn't you? Why she took you away without explanation. He leaned closer, a predator closing in on its prey. Maybe she was running from the truths of your father's world. A lump formed in Mike's throat as the implications sunk in. What does that mean? He pressed, searching for a thread of clarity in the haze of dread. I can show you. Andrew's voice lowered, the threat softened just slightly. But you need to trust me, and we can do this together. Trust you? Mike scoffed, shaking his head. You've got to be kidding me. Their mother's grip tightened around their hands. No. Her voice, once fierce, now trembled. You can't listen to him, boys. Please. He's lying. He wants to hurt us. Tell me, boys. Andrew's voice dripped with arrogance. What do you really know about the man you call father? Wouldn't you want to learn the secrets that bind you together? As panic surged through Mike again, a new realization flickered at the edges of his mind. Could the answers really be worth the risk? Were they willing to unravel not only their father's story, but also the fabric of their own lives? Do you really want to go down this path? Andrew pressed, a gleam of anticipation in his eyes. The choice is yours. You can turn your back, or you can embrace the truth that could set you free, or destroy you. With one final look at Jake and their mother, Mike could feel the weight of his decision pressing down on him. He knew whatever choice he made would alter the course of their lives forever. "Let us find out what this truth really is," Mike whispered, each word filled with determination, fear, and a flicker of defiance. And just like that, they crossed a threshold into the unknown. What would that reveal? And could they handle what lay ahead? The air inside the warehouse crackled with tension. Shadows danced around them, leaving the brothers caught between fear and a thirst for the truth they had sought for so long. Mike could feel Jake's hand tightening around his, a silent promise that they would face whatever came next together. Andrew leaned in closer, his voice low and persuasive. "Your father was involved in something bigger than any of you know, a web of crime, danger, and secrets. He wasn't just abandoning you, he was protecting you." But that speech can sound like a feeble excuse for his actions. "Protecting us?" Jake echoed, disbelief etched on his face. "By running away and leaving us with our mother? How is that protection?" "Because there were factions out there that would have hurt him or worse. He believed they'd come for his family next," Andrew replied, the intensity in his eyes deepening. "He felt it was best if you grew up with as little knowledge as possible. He couldn't risk you being a target." Mike could feel a swell of anger rise within him. "You expect us to believe that? A father only protects by staying, not by running away. We deserved better." "Better?" Andrew laughed, a bitter sound. "Better might have meant a life entwined with violence. You're here because he dug a grave with his choices, and you believe his absence was abandonment. But it was more of a sacrifice." "Don't speak for him," Jake shouted, emotion erupting. "You don't know what it was like for us." "Maybe I do," Andrew replied more softly, meeting Jake's fierce gaze with a knowing look. "Who's to say you two wouldn't have been caught in that world?" That struck a nerve. Mike's heart raced. Was Andrew right? What if their lives were saved by their father's choice? But that didn't erase the pain or betrayal he still felt. "Enough with the excuses," Jake pressed. "If you know something, tell us everything or get out." Mike nodded, blood rushing with adrenaline, prepared for whatever revelations lay ahead. "Yes. If you owe us anything, it's honesty for all these years of confusion." Andrew took a deep breath, tension seeping from his body. "Your father was part of an organization that dealt in more than just crime. He was an informant, a whistleblower against some very dangerous people. Those same people wanted him silenced, and they wouldn't have hesitated to take you and your mother too." The words struck Mike hard, making his world wobble. "An informant?" He shook his head, struggling to fathom the implications. "So you're telling us he chose this dangerous life to protect us?" "Exactly," Andrew said, his voice barely a whisper now. "But that choice came with consequences. Your father became a target, and he knew he had to keep you safe out of the shadows." The weight of Andrew's words settled heavily on them, stirring fresh anguish. A lifetime of questions loomed larger now, marred by complicated truths. "But why was he so far away from you, from us?" Jake asked. "What drove him to live this double life? He thought he could take down the organization from the inside, but it spiraled out of control. He left your mother and you behind to keep you safe from the fallout. He wanted to protect you from the chaos, not put you in the middle of it." In that moment, an unexpected heat of sympathy welled up within Mike. The man they had long demonized might have been fighting against insurmountable odds, a silent hero trapped in a world of shadows. It was hard to process. He wanted to shatter everything he thought he knew, but instead, he was grasping at an understanding of sacrifice and protection. "Why didn't he come back then?" Mike demanded, hurling the next question into the air like a grenade, trying to find firm ground beneath shaky truths. Andrew looked away, his gaze falling on the wall as if the answer truly resided within the shadows. "Because the moment he slipped up, it put all of you in danger. He went into hiding so the lines wouldn't be blurred, hoping maybe, just maybe, one day he could return as the man-father you needed." Silence settled, the air thick with unshed tears and buried emotions. Mike sensed the weight of their past lingering, demanding to be reckoned. "So there's a chance he's still out there?" Jake asked cautiously. "Yes." Andrew's voice turned grave. "But it's not safe to seek him out. You have to understand those people, they're still watching. A deep silence enveloped them as the reality of their choices pressed down like lead. Protection had been built on pain, and as fragmented as it felt, perhaps they were a step closer to seeing the whole picture. Enough. Mike burst out, an unexpected fire igniting within him. If he's out there and we finally understand his sacrifice, then it's our moment. We can't be bound by fear anymore. We have to find him. What? Jake exclaimed, surprise painted all over his face. Are you out of your mind? Did you hear what this guy just said? We could be walking straight into danger. I don't care, Mike declared, feeling the heat pulse in his veins. For too long, we've let the past imprison us. We've sought the truth but only received shattered fragments. It's time to break free. The truth deserves to be uncovered even if it's scary. The courage surged through Jake, who stood beside his brother, cards finally on the table. I'm with you, Mike. We'll face whatever lies ahead together. Andrew regarded them both, a mix of admiration and concern on his face. You're right, but know the path you choose may lead you into the darkest parts of your family's past. In that moment, a fire began to ignite not just within Mike and Jake, but in Sarah as well. Their mother looked at both sons, having hidden her anguish. You'll need support, and I'm here, too. Our family has a chance to heal perhaps more than you realize. As they stood in that dim light together, for the first time, Mike felt a sense of unity burning between all of them. They wouldn't let fear dictate their future anymore. We'll find the truth, Mike said with finality, his lips curving into a determined smile. And we'll do it together. Neither of us is alone in this fight anymore. The tension hung heavy, but now there was a sense of hope laced within it. They were embracing the unknown, ready to uncover the shadows of their family's legacy together. As they prepared to leave the warehouse, a realization swept over Mike. This was not just about uncovering secrets. It was about fortifying bonds, facing adversities, and finally rewriting their story. The shadows were growing dimmer, and in that shared resolve, a flicker of light sparkled, illuminating both their path and their future. Now let us go find our father, Mike said, stepping boldly out into the night, leaving their past behind, their sister beside them, hope guiding the way ahead for all four of them. And just as the darkness flickered away, they stepped into the unknown, resolute and ready for whatever came next. Now more than ever, they understood this truth. Family is not just linked by blood, but by choice, courage, and a willingness to face the storm together. If you loved this story, you need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like right now to feed the algorithm with positivity and ensure you never miss a moment like this again. Comment your reactions and feelings about this emotional journey and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Let us spread the word together. We can embrace the unknown.